Right, back to chapter 9, getting very interesting. I'm still overwhelmed by the way this astrolabe is solely for Lucky, and even only he can control it. I'm also starting to be suspicious of Captain Knox. Let's see if you agree with me. But he's a child, the captain protested. A human child at that. You think he can waltz into it and make it work when I, Ozymandias Knox, cannot? Let him try, said Mystica. How else is he going to find his father? The captain snorted. Well, there's a simple way to settle this. Boy, put your fingers on its dials and ask it to unlock itself. You'll see it won't do a thing. Ask it, said Lucky nervously. Yes, think the words in your mind. Lucky put his fingers on the dials, feeling foolish, but in his mind he imagined saying the words, Astrolabe, please unlock yourself. The instant he thought that, the dials began to turn beneath his fingers. The wheels began to spin smoothly, gracefully, easily. It was moving. At last, the astrolabe was moving. All he had to do was ask. Something so simple. He'd never even thought of it. Bubbling with excitement, he looked up and saw the aliens all staring at him, their eyes aflame. How are you doing that? Hissed Knox. I just did what you told me, quaked Lucky, as the metal dials turned and turned. There was such a sensation of power under his fingertips, but he wasn't doing a thing. The astrolabe was spinning at its own speed, following its own rhythms, like some starry dynamo, pulsing in the night. So what now? He said. How does it work? Your human ships use star maps to navigate faster than the speed of light, said Captain Knox, eyes flashing. But AXA ships travel at the speed of dark. We use astrolabes to guide our dark matter drives across the vast gulfs of interstellar space. Dark matter, said Lucky, puzzled. Like the bombs. Bixer scowled. Is that all you know about us? Bombs! Well, the dark matter drive is the safest, cleanest, quickest way to travel ever invented. It doesn't waste fuel like you crazy groundlings, but without an astrolabe, the drive won't work. You're stuck in whatever system you happen to be in, like we were when we surrendered ours, thanks to your government for banning our technology. Lucky stared down at the spinning dials, the gleaming symbols, the faraway silver light. Astrolabes are your technology, he said. Course, said Frolics. They were made by AXA navigators years ago. They were the highest point our science ever reached. Lucky frowned, trying to imagine why his father would have a piece of alien technology. But already, Captain Knox was pointing to the astrolabe's circumference. Some of you, I think Norman, had a theory that his father was an alien, and I really think that's looking likely now, isn't it, that he had alien technology. See those symbols, he said. They represent the 12 star systems of the galaxy. Within the astrolabe is a kind of map, encompassing all the stars and worlds we know. But it's not like one of your human star maps. It doesn't just show you the route, it actually takes you there. Well, it takes your mind there. Your body remains here in a trance. Try it. Start by asking it to show you your position in space. If that works, then ask it where your father is. Lucky concentrated with all his might. He had to make this work. Had to. Astrolabe, he said in his mind, show me my position in space. He considered for a moment, then added, please, just in case. The dials picked up speed. They shimmered beneath his fingertips as the black metal disc pulsed and blazed and throbbed with light. And then Lucky went into the astrolabe. He became part of it. He couldn't see Mystica's cabin anymore. Not the candles, not the incense, not the aliens. There's an illustration here, guys. I think it's Lucky zooming into the astrolabe. This is getting juicy. Never image there. What he saw instead was space. Infinite blank space. Open, unbounded and free. It was studded with stars, millions of stars all around him, above him, below him. The stars he'd looked up at so often from the ground. They surrounded him on every side. They weren't little points of light anymore. Up close, they were suns. Each one a giant blazing sun. Inside them burned impossible energies, stronger than the fires in a nuclear furnace, bigger than the blast of 1 billion atom bombs. They filled him with awe. They were so bright it hurt his eyes to look directly at them. But he couldn't help it. He felt compelled to stare into the scorching face of those suns. For as he gazed at them, he had a distinct sensation that they were staring back at him. And as he flew among them, he became aware that he was no longer in his own body. He seemed to be in a new body, some kind of astral body that defied gravity and needed no air. A body of pure consciousness. Every fibre of his being shivered with the strangeness of it. He needed every ounce of concentration to ask his question. Please show me where my father is, he asked to the astrolabe in his mind. A line of blazing silver shot out from one of the stars. Then another line, and another. And now more and more lines were shooting out of more and more stars, joining up into spirals and webs, swirling away in every direction, to infinity, so fast it made his head spin and his stomach lurch. What's going on? He thought, as panic rose inside him. I don't like this. I can't move. I can't think. I can't breathe. Lovely image there. And then he was hurtling along the lines of light, through space, totally out of control, faster and faster, further and further, spiralling all the way to the edge of space, and then over the edge and off the map, and stop! He gasped as he fell out of the astrolabe and landed on the floor of Mystica's cabin. Gravity smashed back into him with a painful crash. He dropped the astrolabe in shock. Its silver lights winked out. Its dials all ground to a halt. He was shaking. His head hurt. The aliens were staring down at him with eyes of flame. Good gracious, said Mystica. Are you all right? Lucky's heart was still racing, but at least he could breathe again. He could move. He seemed unharmed, though the panic was only a heartbeat away. That was scary, he said as he hauled himself up. That was your first try, said Captain Knox, looking shaken. Yes, I couldn't do it. You panicked, and you came out of it badly, the captain said. But most humans can't get into an astrolabe at all, let alone move through it. Even the great Axon navigators. It took years. He shook his head, his face an unreadable mix of emotions. So where did it take you? Nowhere. It just threw me off the edge of the map. Off the edge? The captain picked up the astrolabe and examined it. The dials seemed to have flipped inside out. They had twisted and turned right over, so they now appeared to be pointing outside the astrolabe altogether. This doesn't make sense, he said. I've never seen an astrolabe's dials point outwards. It's not possible. Its map contains everything in the galaxy. He shook his head. It's as I thought. Your astrolabe must be broken after all. Lucky felt a sharp stab of disappointment. His only hope of finding his father, and it was really broken. Can you fix it? He asked. Like I said, that technology is old, sighed Frolics. Even we don't really understand it anymore. Mystica coughed and pulled her furs tighter around herself. There is one person who might be able to help. The very person we're going to see. In fact, an old friend of ours on Leo 5. He specializes in ancient artifacts. If anyone can fix that astrolabe, he can. Lucky peered at her. Could you maybe take me to meet him? He asked. Don't you think we have business of our own with him? Said the captain coldly. My dear, Mystica chuckled. Without the boy and his astrolabe, we wouldn't be back in space at all. She winked at Lucky, almost like they were conspirators. But then she coughed again, a deep racking cough that shook her whole body. Besides, I rather think the professor would wish to see this astrolabe for himself. A look passed between Mystica and Nox. Then Nox stood up and strode to the doorway. Well, it's a long way to Leo, he said. If you want to stay on this ship, boy, you'd better start earning your keep. Can you do anything useful? I know a bit about starships, said Lucky cautiously. I've always wanted to fly one. Fly? The captain tossed his horns back in scorn. You'd think I'd let you fly the Sunfire? No. I'll tell you how you can earn your keep. First, you can maintain this ship in tip-top condition so we don't waste any more energy on repairs. You can clean the floors, polish the vid screens, scrub the toilet. The toilet? Yes, said Captain Nox. The toilet. It is now your responsibility. Second, you help Frolics fight, so you obviously enjoy fighting like most humans. Good. Because Bixie is always complaining that no one will train with her. So starting right now, you're officially her training partner. That's going to be amazing. You have to do whatever she wants. Are we clear? Lucky's eyes grew wide with horror, but no wider than Bix's own. What? She shrieked as Captain knocked her out the cabin. No way. I'm not training with him. Amazing. I'm going to stop the video because it's 12 minutes. It'll take forever to upload. But fantastic 2 chapters for us to read this week. We will reconvene with more chapters next week. I'm sure that astrolabe's not broken. And my gut says it is fixed. It's just not like anyone I've ever seen before. So phenomenal. Can't wait to see more of Lucky's adventures. And when I get to Leo 5, I want to see what the professor says about the astrolabe. Can't wait to pick it up with you next week. What a great book.